It seems kind of silly to think of how you can find direction in life, especially as a young guy, whether you're sort of in your 20s or maybe early 30s, because there is so much around telling you what you should and shouldn't do, and the lifestyle you could have if you just followed these specific steps in this specific business and such. And I've had this really just big dilemma over the last few years where I spent 2.5 years building a business which I came to hate. And I got into that because I saw other people online telling me to do that. For reference, it was a LinkedIn lead generation business. And I was just working away, doing tons of outreach for clients. And I wasn't really making much money either, right? So it was a lose-lose situation. And eventually I just got rid of the whole thing. I got rid of the whole thing. I said, look, I'm not doing it anymore. And do I regret doing that? No, I don't regret starting it. I think it's taught me quite a lot. So I don't particularly think that that is bad. But again, I think finding that direction again, like still even at this point, has been a little bit difficult. Now, I think I found that the best way to find your sense of direction, or at least for me, was like I had to do something, right? You don't know if you actually enjoy something unless you've genuinely committed time to it. And that's not even just a few days, but that's like 30, 60, 90 days. Now, I started with something called an Ikigai. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but I believe it's a Japanese concept where you basically jot down four things. You jot down what you like, what you can get paid for, what the world needs, and what you're good at. So having those four things and jotting those down, I've made, I think, probably maybe three of these in my lifetime. And my most recent one back in sort of June time, I basically landed on the okay, well, I enjoy playing video games. I enjoy using AI and I enjoy creative things. I am good at using AI because I use it for my business. What can I get paid for? I can get paid for making video games, or people buying my video games and such. I could also get paid maybe on YouTube as well if I wanted to. And what does the world need? Well, the world needs entertainment and such. And so eventually I pulled a few things together and thought, okay, well, if I like playing video games, could I not make one? And I thought, well, I don't really want to go down the coding path. So what if I try and use AI? And it's just from there where I just thought, okay, well, let's just give it a go. And I just put time into it and tried to give it consistent energy. And I'm enjoying what I'm doing at the moment. And when I mean finding fulfillment, right? Fulfillment more specifically in the work you do and the time you put in toward the meaningful project. That's not to say that there's not issues and problems that come along with it. When I think of fulfillment, I think of what problems am I willing to solve? What problems am I willing to deal with and to run into for that long-term goal? For me, I absolutely hated doing LinkedIn lead generation. I absolutely hated logging on to about 6 or 7 different clients I had at the time, the counts, and sending loads of outreach, responding to loads of messages, sending loads of follow-ups. I hated it. I hated that problem. Now, when I'm doing stuff with YouTube, when I'm doing stuff with my AI game development, there's still problems involved, but I prefer to pick those. I think that's the really big thing. And again, right, going back to, the whole business stuff, there's so many people recommending different types of businesses and ventures you should get into. But I think, look, if you're not enjoying the process now, you're not going to enjoy it later. That's just from my experience of the 2.5 years of me sort of pushing through stuff. And what people enjoy is going to be entirely different, right? So when you have someone recommending you should do this, then, that might not be the best thing. Now, again, right? If you're not sure, take action in some form of way. I think an easy thing for a lot of people is YouTube. And obviously, yeah, that's me recommending something, but you can speak about whatever, right? It's a very, well, effectively, it's something I believe everyone can get into because you can speak about whatever you want to speak about. And, whether you're teaching people, speaking opinions, it doesn't really matter. But I think the point is just, yeah, finding fulfillment is very difficult because there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise of people telling you what you should and shouldn't do. But I think what's worked best for me is just pick one thing that you are perhaps interested in and try and give it at least 30 to 60 days, ideally maybe up to 90 days, of you putting in some level of consistency into it so that you can actually figure out, right, well, did I enjoy doing that? Right? Did I enjoy that process? Did I enjoy and sure, in the beginning part, everything will feel quite a bit difficult and a bit uncertain. I think it's just trying to push past that so that you can get to a point where you're like, actually, you know what, I did enjoy doing that. Or actually, you know what, although with a bit of a struggle, the fact that I was able to do this thing in the end was quite good. So let me know your thoughts on that. And with that said, I'll chat soon.